millions of kids who walk in the streets who have no vested interest in living. They dropped out of school, they have no diplomas, they have no skills.
And you can name the places where the schools, you can talk about Detroit, East Baltimore, Camden, South Central. This has all been going, this is since I was a child and even before.
For generations, experts tended to blame failing schools on failing neighborhoods. But reformers have begun to believe the opposite, that the problems of failing neighborhoods might be blamed on failing schools.
There are two acronyms: organization, planning, and discipline, and opportunity, purpose, and decisions. And applying these things, my favorite part, you prevent yourself from becoming a part of other people's dreams. because you lived your own.
My name is Schwab, and what I like about the OPD book is it's very inspirational, showing how you can come from nothing and become something like Scooter did. With that $200 and following the 6 pillars, he changed his life from being that nobody who lived in the ghetto to someone big who inspired another person.
Educational philosopher John Dewey said that what we should be trying to create as educators are students who will become productive citizens of society, who are capable of thinking and contributing to the society that they're in. And that is the goal of education. So once you're able to make that student a thinker that impacts his or her community, then you're really, really teaching. And that is what the OPD movement is all about. We don't want to isolate the academic from the social. We want to marry them so that we can produce quality citizens.
I'm passionate about OPD because OPD represents my life. OPD pretty much speaks that my life and my experiences, they all matter. They all are important. And the same message can be translated to my students who come from the same types of situations, same background, same struggle. They can receive that same message that they matter and that they are deserving of greatness like everyone else.
I used to see myself as a failure.
And so I want to be one of the first to go to college.
It's a life changer right here. And you take this book and read it to a group of inner city children with low test scores, and I guarantee that one person out of that entire classroom will average or higher just by this book. Or this will keep one more person alive. This is a powerful book.
I also like the contemporary novels just because it allows students to think about modern issues and what ideas being presented and ask questions. How do I fit in? What does this mean for me?
I really enjoyed the book because this is more of a real book I can relate to, because a lot of books that schools make you read, I have no type of connection with them at all.
It just increased my interest in it, in OPD, like tenfold.
And that's where I see a lot of motivation problems coming into play. The student can't see where down the road this assignment, this lesson, anything fits. I think it's important for a teacher to use a real life problem, a real life circumstance, something a student can connect to, something that they're interested in for that very reason, so they can at least attach some meaning to it and maybe start to wonder, is the assignment really trying to get me a job? Is this going to work towards something I actually do care about?
That's when they're the most engaged. When I am able to take what we're reading, what we're doing, and connect it directly to what they're going through today. And that's when they're the most involved, when they feel like they're being appreciated.
When I think of just the whole concept of cultural responsiveness or cultural relevance, I'm reminded of Ralph Ellison's novel Invisible Man. Because in this novel Invisible Man, what he really boldly exposes this concept of invisibility that African Americans feel. But I think the timing of it is very interesting, because while he's making this proclamation, there is this existentialist movement is at the height at this point, where Europeans are exploring and trying to answer the question on what their purpose is in this world. And it exposes that African Americans don't have that same freedom to embark on that journey. And as a result, this concept of invisibility is what happens as a result of that. And what you have is, instead of defining who you are defined by the venom of racism and by the venom of negative stereotypes. And that same concept is very present even today in my students. And I see it all the time, where they don't feel like they are even existing. And I find that they are defined by these negative misconceptions, or either they're trying to emerge from like the silhouette of legacy. Like they know that greatness has come before them, but they can't quite embrace it because they can't really see themselves in their current education.
To see an author write a book that actually people like me can relate to, yeah. That's why I really like the book.
What would help me is if my students had something that looked like them. Something that they can say, you know what, someone actually cares, they know me, somebody took some time to figure out what my generation is about, and they've presented information that's important to me in the way that I can receive it. That's what'll help me.
I really don't think I would have to do much to get the teachers to buy in, because as soon as they get their hands on the curriculum and the workbook and all the different things, they'll see that it's so relevant, it's so hip and cool. I know that there's so many teachers that are tired and they want to be creative and they want to read a novel, but they really don't have the ideas. Sometimes you just don't have the ideas, but that's the great thing about the curriculum. It's all in there, and so you can just use it and follow it by the letter, and it just have an awesome experience.
Frustrating part about being an English teacher is there's a sheer amount of work. I remember when I first walked in and first day teaching, I'm getting a curriculum and a guide, and it's so much like numbers, letters, code, and it's kind of like learning an entirely new language, but you're expected to master the language in a week and figure out how to make your students successful. It's really overwhelming. You need to learn how to manage it all. You need someone to help you out with that initially. You also need to just really, maybe a survival kit or something to adapt really quick.
Because honestly, sometimes as teachers, we're tired. There are massive amounts of papers to be graded, endless hours of lesson planning. We're just burnt out. And we have access to materials and resources, but it's cumbersome. It's a lot. So what I love about what we offer is so simple, but it's student-centered, number one. And the best thing is everything is given to you. So it gives you a reprieve, but it doesn't sacrifice or make you a bad teacher. This is not the run off a worksheet and hand it to your student. This is quality instruction done for you. This is lesson plans and resources that are quality, that are student-centered, done for you as a teacher. And who would not want that? I want that. I want to be able to go into my, materials, my file cabinet, online, whatever, and pull out materials that are already done for me, that are organized, that are simple, that are clear, that are student-centered, that I didn't have to produce. That would definitely help me as a teacher, because sometimes life is just busy and hectic, and you don't want to have to sacrifice being an effective teacher, for not having time.
What made me decide to make it a school-wide movement? Because it's principles that I apply and I have applied within my life. And so I believe that if teachers, students, and we're all communicating and talking with the same voice, that we'll see more growth.
The students have improved greatly after having read the novel and attending the club, and continue to improve because they've actually applied the principles of OPD in everything that they do, both academically and socially.
Whether it's directly stated or not, what you see in the school, I say what you see in any job of public service is a result of what you're seeing in society. And so for me, when I just listen to what I hear on the radio, TV, when I see in daily life, education is not really being pushed as a path to being successful. And so part of making sure that the community is engaged in the school building is because the school has to be viewed as a resource.
Students need to be met at a place where they are challenged, but the task is still manageable. So I believe that anything that is holistic needs to be scaffolded, and so the program is scaffolded much like our teaching methods are. You have the academic component, which deals with the reading and the workbook part of the process. And then you also have the social component, which now takes the academics a step further and asks students, how can I apply these lessons and these themes that are learned in this text to my own life? And then you scaffold it a step further, and now you're having school-wide OPD movement, where how do we involve and engage the school in this so that we can create a culture of success within the school. Then it's scaffolded a step further, where the question becomes, all right, well, how can I engage the community in this same type of process so that what students are learning in school goes and impacts the community, and vice versa. It creates this holistic relationship between the school and the community, where students are impacted by literature, they analyze that literature, they apply the themes of that literature, they then impact their school through that literature, which in turn they end up impacting their entire community with the message that they derive from the literature. And that to me is a powerful, powerful message.